Now we're going to talk a little bit about how you might go about building a solo and phrasing. One thing that I've tried to really develop over my time as a dobro player is trying to get good at phrasing. And what I mean by phrasing is when you play a solo, you want it to sound like you're communicating something, and you could almost relate it to having a conversation. So you want there to be phrases, you want there to be breaths. You know, I mean, some solos can be a stream of 16th notes top to bottom. That's, you know, one style, and that can be useful for really fast songs, but a lot of times you're going to want to have some breath in there. Let me just give you an example. We'll play something here in the key of G, and I'm just going to make it up, but it's going to demonstrate a little bit of phrasing here. Now I just made that up, but you can hear in there, there's various parts where I'll play a statement and then I'll take a breath. Here's another way you might look at it. Maybe that right there is a complete statement. You would just play that much and then take a breath, and then start again on something else. So those two phrases together almost make like a question and answer. So when you're building a solo, you can think of it also as conversational. You might have a question. Something going up almost sounds like a question. And then something going down almost sounds like the answer or a resolution. So when you're doing these phrasing things, you can think of it conversational. And the dobro is an instrument that has a real vocal quality. So, you know, you can imagine if you were a singer, you'd want to sing a phrase and then take a breath. And when you're playing, it's sort of the same thing. You want to play some and then take a breath. And not only does it help you to take a breath, it gives the listener's ear a little bit of a break, and it's going to be a lot easier for them to understand what you're playing. One thing I notice in bluegrass musicians a lot of times, and myself as well, especially once you get on stage, you can end up playing a whole lot of notes. You're really trying to emote and you're trying to really make a statement. But sometimes the best way to do that is by leaving spaces. Look at Mike Aldridge's playing, for instance. You know, he's one of the most highly respected dobro players ever, and he has a very sparse, tasteful style. So you don't need a lot of notes necessarily just to be impactful. I'm going to play for you here an example that'll hopefully help you get the hang of this even more. This is a solo off the song Always You from my Sound of the Slide guitar record. I'm going to go ahead and play the solo along with a click track, and you're going to be able to hear these different phrasing type of ideas. So we'll get a click going, and I'll see if I can render this solo for you. 1, 2, 3. So that's the solo from the song Always You. Now you can hear in there, there'll be an exciting lick and then a break. And so that hopefully will help sort of give an example as to what I'm talking about here. Now I've also written this solo out, so if you're interested in learning it, you can check it out, and you can hear the original version on my record, Sound of the Slide Guitar. Now that we've been talking about building solos and phrasing, I'd love to see what you're doing out there to build a solo and work on your phrasing. So if you'd like, send me a video in. You can use backing tracks to play along to, and just create a solo. I'd like to hear how you're phrasing and how you're putting it together. So you can do that. You can look to see what some other students have sent in. Maybe there's some videos related to this to help you. But you can go ahead, send me a video, and I'll take a look at it and give you some feedback.